Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be watching from. I was going to do a full video of this, but I thought I should practice and refine my thoughts. Hmm. I think I'm on. I think I'm on. Good morning, good evening, good everything. I started this live talking about how I wanted to make this live video before I make the full video because, hey Ivan, welcome. Welcome everyone. I was thinking we recently got a message in the forums. People were complaining about scammers. Now, there are a lot of scammers inside of Russia, and they're not only Russian, but they're also Westerners. And I was thinking about the three different types of scams that I've ran into after I started my channel because we have such a tight network. A lot of people complain to me, a lot of people um, see to me for advice through the forums, the Russian experience. So the volume is low. Maybe put the volume up on your phone or your computer because it looks like on my end, it doesn't look that low. Let me know, guys, what the sound is like, okay? Again, this is a very important topic. A lot of people may be visiting Russia in the future. A lot of people um, have to take care of themselves. Don't think that Russia is an absolutely safe place when it comes to everything. People who move to Russia are targeted by Russian scammers and Western scammers. Always being a new immigrant in a new country, you will be targeted. So, I'm going to be talking about some ways that Westerners are targeted by Russian and Western predators. These are digital predators sometimes, and or they're predators that you meet once you arrive to Russia. Thank you guys for joining me. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces here. We have the donations are back on the alerts. Thank you, my friend. Yes, man. Golly. I'm looking at the long form one. It took a while to load, my friend, and I'm really impressed with what you sent. Before I get into the topic, I wanna let you guys know that you can contact me through Telegram, and that's essentially how he sent to me. Let's see here. How long was this video? Adam, the last one that you sent is 11 minutes, so I couldn't get to watch it. But he sent me videos from what Canada looks like. And in the part of Canada that he lives in, it looks absolutely similar to where I live. I was even wondering, like, why does it look so similar? Well, it's freaking crazy. Yeah, the big one got through. It's 11 minutes. Thanks for the donation, and I'll get to it after the live. Um, Let me open up with this. I already mentioned that there are scammers in Russia, and we're gonna let the live load a couple more people because This is one of the most important live streams that I'm going to be making. Recently, not even a week ago, multiple people mentioned different ways in which they're being scammed in Russia. Now, I think that information is the best way to counter this, and so this is why I'm doing this live. Let me see what we have going on here. And let's try to get to 50. Once we get to 50 viewers, we'll get the video started. In the meantime, please let me know where you're watching from. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be looking at the news about Israel and Iran for a long time. Earlier for today and for some of you guys, that's what we were talking about. On the last live, it's something that really caught my attention, something that I think is going to be affecting my life here in Russia. Good morning from British Columbia, Canada. Good morning, good morning. Ireland. Really cool. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Whoa, there's a lot of Canadians, man. That's really interesting, and I always call Canadians our neighbors, even though you guys are really far away. But, Adam, the videos that people send me from Canada, you guys are essentially my neighbors. It looks like the places that I've seen, whether it's like Ontario, Alberta, these areas, when people send me photos on our Telegram about these places, they look like my next door neighbors. Hello from Estonia, Sweden. Remy, how is Estonia? A couple of our subscribers on this channel say that the mood is not really good against Russians in Estonia. I'm not sure if you know about this, but Estonians have a very negative attitude towards Russians. St. Petersburg. Welcome, welcome. Here, let me get the first section up. Let me get it ready. I have it ready. We're going to go ahead and start. So, hello and welcome to this live. This is going to be one of the most important lives of the year because we're going into the second year of people immigrating into Russia. And I feel like a lot of people are potentially going to be getting scammed. And we're going to be talking about those type of things. Here we go. So starting off with this is a text that we got on the Telegram. Please let me know if you guys can see it on the screen. I know it's a little bit, sometimes things are not clear on the screen. But this is from one of our subscribers. This is also a member on our Telegram group, the Russian Experience. And he's writing, hello, thank you so much for your quick response. I am from Sri Lanka. I had a student visa and I tried to get into the government university through someone else. Unfortunately, that person took my money and scammed me. And now my visa is already expired because of that. I am in a difficult situation now. I am looking for legal help or support that can help me stay in Russia legally, either with a new visa, temporary residency, or any other possible way without having to leave the country. If there's any way I can regularize my status or protect my future here, I would be really thankful for your guidance. So, this is one of the things that I want to let you understand, that you shouldn't even be paying anyone for once you're already in Russia. First of all, you shouldn't be paying anybody to renew student visas, to renew tourist visas, to do any of that. Why? You shouldn't be paying people inside of Russia because you have to leave Russia to get a new type of visa. That's first of all. Now, we got this message and it caught my attention because I know a lot of people who are willing to pay people money to help them once they're already inside of Russia. If you've already been inside of Russia, that's the biggest part of the battle. After that, you need to seek information. You cannot get a different visa once you're inside of Russia. Had he been informed, had he been in our channel, had he been asking the right questions before, way before trying to buy a new visa, he would have not gotten scammed. All right, you cannot renew your visa once you're inside of Russia. You need to leave Russia to renew the visa or get a new type of visa, okay? This is really important. People are sometimes very gullible and they think, oh, you know what? It's Russia. I can stay here and do the same thing we do in the West. It's not the same. Like in the West, you can overstay your visa and just leave the country. A lot of people in the United States can overstay their visa in the United States and then just go south through Mexico and exit. To them, it's not a problem, but in Russia, they will always check your passport on the way out. You will always get checked on the way out. So do not pay people who can say they can give you help with visas. This is not the way to do it, guys. That is the first type of scams that are happening. The amount of people that get scammed in this one is probably not the highest. This is why I'm talking about this one first. This is the least likely way for you to get scammed in Russia. I'm going over 3 of them. The first one is visas. Do not buy visas once you're already in Russia. You cannot renew them inside of Russia. You cannot get a different type of visa. So you're wasting your time. And the guy that scammed him is actually Russian. I looked into it. I looked at the person who he was communicating with. That was a Russian person. So he met this person in real life, probably, or through the internet, maybe a connection. If you're a student in Russia, you will be preyed upon. Okay, because if you're a foreigner, they know that you are going to need a bunch of information, a bunch of paperwork, right? So when you're a student in Russia, you're very vulnerable. What is something else that I wanted to mention about this type of scam? Okay, so this is a true scam. Once you're inside of Russia, it's a true scam when people offer to get you a new visa and you pay. Now, there's a big difference between going through a visa agency without ever being to Russia. This is not a scam, but you have to make sure that you're choosing the right visa centers. There's very few visa centers now that process Russian visas. You should never pay more than $500. I think that's like that's the average amount for a Russian visa from anywhere in the United States. This is a type of a tourist visa that you can get by doing the paperwork online, and it saves you the trouble with dealing with the consulate yourself. This is not a scam. It's just a pricey way of getting a Russian visa. I don't want you guys to confuse visa centers for visa scammers once you're inside of Russia. This is a huge difference, and one of them you're being preyed upon by Russian and Westerners alike inside of Russia, and the other one you have to do your research and you're essentially paying for a service, a real service by a legitimate company. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm talking about. This again is something that I'm going over because I will be making a normal length video about this topic, and the more people that are interested in coming to Russia, the more people that are going to get scammed. Let me know if you guys have ever thought about coming to Russia. Let me know in the chat if you would be interested in visiting Russia, because if you are, you need to make sure that you are not overpaying for a Russian visa. Like I said, if you're coming from the West, there are visa centers that will help you get the Russian visa, or you can look at one of my old videos and do some of the paperwork yourself. Welcome, Daniel. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. It's nice to see you guys. Let's see. Remy answered the question about Estonia. It's complicated. The government and the media hardly push anti-Russian ideas and all that because of our history. Many people swallow it easily, and there are many like me. What's nice to hear. Canada, it costs 595 for a 90-day visa. Interesting. That's 90 days, a single entry, I believe, for Canada. For the United States, you can have a visa for 3 years and you can stay in Russia up to 6 months at a time, leave for an hour and come back in. Gray says, "Hey there, Daniel. It's been some time. Hope life is good." Yes, life is very good. Life is continuing as normal here in Siberia. I have nothing to complain about. We are in true summer. I'm enjoying the weather a little bit, and we're just going over some information here. The information is very important for the future here because more people are going to be coming. I believe things are going to go a little bit crazier in the West, and I think a little bit more people are going to come visit. Thank you for dropping by. Now I'm gonna go and show you the next type of scam that you will probably run into, and it's gonna be one of the costly ones. But this is the second most expensive type of scam that's going on inside of Russia. Let me just fix this up here. And I think that if you guys are paying attention, you should be able to catch this next one. This is one of the most famous topics inside of Russia. You guys know the Hare family from Texas. They got scammed for $50,000, and I would say that it was a little bit of a trust scam. They did get baited. They did get baited, and you can refuse people's investment scams. I think that they just got pushed in towards the wrong direction, and that's the one I want to talk about next, okay? So let's go ahead and let's see here. Holy moly, I got a lot to... Okay. So, before we go into this one, the next type of scam are investment scams. Once you're already inside of Russia, the Russians especially, this one is more of a Russian scam because the Russians will target Westerners more than the Westerners will target the Westerners for this type of scam. So the first scam was done by both parties, the Russians and Westerners. Those are visa scams. This next type of scam and robbery is the investment scam. This one is usually ran by Russians. Now, if you guys didn't know the story about the Hare family, from what I understand, they entrusted their money with a Russian family. They were pushed there by the Joseph Rose family. The Rose family kind of brought them to a farm. And this is where I think the problem starts, by the way. You have Westerners working with Russians. This is where I think the two parties kind of meet in the middle. People who make videos like myself here in Russia, a lot of Westerners will watch our videos, and we have the influence to help other people go to certain areas or certain people inside of Russia. I think that the Hare family was kind of pushed into this, the lion's den. And they are a little bit gullible in a way, but that is not their fault to have been in that situation in the first place. If Had they had contact with me, I would have told them, do not invest with any Russians. These are normal scammers. This is not a good way to use your money. You know, I think they're gullible, but they're ill informed. And they had the pressure of the Rose family to be sent to a farm and all of these things. It was the perfect storm to lose $50,000. We're going to hear about their story. They're going to talk about it. I'm going to show a video that they published. But in my opinion, this is a scam that you can avoid by simply not investing in Russia through Russian people or through influencers like myself. Do not listen to me. I would never tell you how to invest your money, okay? Because it's not my job. What I can tell you is not to do it. Do not invest money with Russians inside of Russia. The bank gives right now, Sberbank gives like 21% interest on your money. That is probably the safest way, but I'm not telling you to do that either. I am telling you not to do it because if you're coming to Russia with $50,000 and a Russian guy says, guy, I can double your money, I can do this, I can do that, that is not going to work. This is one of the most costly scams in Russia. This is one of the ways that you will lose a lot of money. Canadian, we just got blessed. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for the donations. Uh, Welcome to the membership, guys. If you're watching this stream, let me see. I should do this, huh? 1 second. If you guys just received a membership from Adam, make sure to use the Giga Chat emoji, man. This is the way of saying thank you. No, not the freaking ungrateful green goblin. Damn it, Slava Ryan. It's this emoji. You Giga Chat him. Why is it the first emoji you use is the freaking ungrateful green goblin Zelensky? What the freak? Oh, that's so funny, man. For the first emoji you send with the freaking membership was the ungrateful green goblin. Famous in this channel, by the way. This is channel lore. For all of those people who regularly watch these lives, the ungrateful green goblin is, of course, Zelensky from Ukraine, and we have an emoji just for him. For anybody who shows characteristics of traits, rather, who has traits like Zelensky, we use the ungrateful green goblin. All right. So you just entered the chat. What you missed was we're talking about scammers inside of Russia. The first scam is scammers from Russians and Westerners will target Westerners inside of Russia to sell them fake visas to stay longer inside of Russia. This does not work. So do not come to Russia and pay people once you're already in Russia to stay longer. Okay, this does not work. The next type of scam are investment scams. Russians will target Westerners who visit Russia. If you show to have any type of money, they will target you, and they will try to get you to invest money. We're gonna be looking at the Hare family here. Man, I don't know why it always makes me laugh. By the way, it always makes me laugh when we something like that happens. Um, Hello, welcome to the live stream. We're just about to get to the second story here. This is another type of scam. This family lost $50,000. Okay, in Moscow near train station are a lot of people to sell this type of scams. Yeah, and we're gonna be talking about that a little bit later because Moscow is the absolute capital of scammers. But just so you know, guys, this is the Hare family. I've already interviewed them one time. I'm gonna interview them again. I think it was expat American, the American immigrant. I don't say expat, but expat American. His wife is the one who helped them come to Russia. His wife is the one who pushed them to the lion's den. This is the type of stuff that you need to avoid. Do not listen to influencers like me, okay? Do not go to certain areas of Russia, trust certain families in Russia. You need to keep your money safe. Now, let's listen to the story that the Hare family talks about. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh yes. By the way, don't worry. I'm not saying that these type of scams don't exist anywhere else but Russia. I'm just trying to help people to remind them that the world is a crazy place. Russia is not perfect. And I don't think that enough people talk about the negative side of Russia, which is a negative side that also can exist all over the world. But I'm probably the only person who's going to talk about it this year. And with the amount of people who have been messaging me about getting scammed, I felt like I should have made this a long time ago. Okay, let's go.
See, what is it? Дети
Дети
means растут быстро.
быстро.
Hey, oh, by the way, Cameron.
Они уже не помнят, где
What are you
живет ее
doing?
парень.
I'm studying, say, one of the most necessary years of my life.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. 1 second.
And of course, the Russia code says we
1 second. All right, this is going to be the first video that they made
Not
about
gonna
the
follow
topic.
you doesn't mean that the judgment. Here I sit at the side of a graveyard, pondering the days of our lives, how they come and go, some quicker than others. And wondering, how do we make our mark in this world? We've come to Russia hoping to make a life and a future for our kids. And it seems like everything that we try to do just backfires on us. And it's been very challenging. It's been really challenging. And I was told it would be challenging. I was warned it would be challenging. But if we can get through it all, it will be worth it. And that is our plan. So the first place that the Lord planted us, it seemed like such an amazing blessing. We were with a Baptist pastor. Now, mind you, we're not we're not Baptists, and we're not Orthodox either. But I do believe that we do everything we can to follow the Lord, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So, anyway, we felt that the Lord brought us to Russia. He brought us out of the judgments that are coming against America. But here's something. Just because you leave a place doesn't mean that the problems aren't going to follow you. Doesn't mean that the judgments of Christ won't still follow you. It's like Jonah. He tried to run from Christ. Now, Me, I'm trying to run to Christ, not from him. And he says to leave everything and come and follow me. So we did. We did. We left everything behind, our family, our friends, our businesses, our life. Everything we knew to come. But I still believe that in a small way that the Lord has still brought judgments and suffering to us. Yes, there have been blessings, but it's getting harder. See, when we first got there to that Baptist farm, we were kind of, still in a panic, trying to transfer our wealth and the little bit that we came with. And his son had a business, and he said, I'm going to introduce you to my son, and my son can help you to exchange your rubles and your little bit of crypto that you have, and he can get it all put from dollars to rubles really easily. He's the financial advisor and part of a company that does small investments. They buy cars and trucks, and they're very connected to other countries, and they bring them in and they resell them here. And so he's got access to a lot of money, and it won't be a problem because they use all kinds of currencies. They should be able to do it within a couple of days. So, fearfully, because God puts fear in us if something is wrong. So, anyway, we gave him our money, and we allowed him to take that and exchange it. And he did it. He did do it. He did it quickly within a couple of days. And then he said, well, since you guys can't work here, I would like to help you some more. And if you will let me use your money for a short time and invest, I will give you a great return. And you'll have enough on a monthly basis to live on your money, live on your interest. It would be over 100,000 rubles a month, which is like equivalent to a little over $1,000 a month. And this would be a way for you guys to, just earn some income, let your money be safe in a company that whenever you're ready to bring it out, you need it back, you need to do what you need to do, it'll be no problem. This is a small amount for us, so no problem. Anyway, so me personally, I didn't want to do it. I didn't care. I said, look, man, we don't know these people. We don't know anything about them. Yeah, they're a pastor and a pastor's son, but honestly, we don't know them at all. How do we know he's a pastor? Well, it just so happens that some other people had come and said, yeah, we know him, we vouch for him. Who are you and why are you here? And, they wanted to meet the American family. So, anyway, biggest freaking mistake of our life. It has ruined everything, every plan that we had here to buy a home. And in fact, we did it because some people that we were working with told us that we wouldn't be able to buy a house until spring. Nobody's going to help us buy anything until spring. because it was the winter and all the holidays were happening and nobody's really selling homes right now. You'll get a better price in the summer. So what were we to do with our money until then? I guess we could have put it in the bank and let it just sit there safely. Would have been a great idea, right? Would have been a smart decision, but that wasn't the decision that my husband wanted. So, with all the fear and trembling in me, we signed what we thought was a contract and gave the kid our money. That was December 30th, 2023. Now, here we are, September 21st, 2024. Still basically begging for them to give us our money back. Yeah, we got a lawyer involved. That didn't help. So we got another lawyer involved, and it doesn't seem to be helping either. Of course, he hasn't really done anything yet, but by his words and his own thoughts and ideas, it doesn't sound like that's going to work out. He's going to try to do the same thing that the other lawyer did, which was say, look, you need to give these people their money back. When are you going to do it? Huh, Mr. Nice Guy? When are you going to give this good family, this good American family, their money back?
That's one of the easiest scams of that person's career. And I'll tell you why. I don't think that they did their research. I don't think that the Hare family even thought about what they were doing. Somebody talked about no sympathy. Look, I myself cannot say that I would have done what they did. Like, I can't say that I would have done that. It's very sketchy. It's a very sketchy thing to give somebody $50,000. And by the way, this is not the first incident where a clergy of a Russian Orthodox church, like, this is the second incident where a Russian priest and his family have scammed Westerners. There's something about the Orthodox church right now that is attracting some people like the Hare family, and they use the religion as a front to gain confidence in the people, and you see what happens. I'm not saying that the Orthodox church is bad, but I've gotten 2 incidents where this has happened. Now, I will say I cannot feel bad for them. I just cannot, because when I heard that it was the expat American, the Rose family, who sent them there, who tried to help them and push them to this, I knew something bad was going to happen. I don't trust I don't trust those people. I don't trust people who gatekeep information, right? I don't trust people who don't go openly and say, by the way, do not take your $50,000 and give them to that guy over there. It's an easy thing to say to them. If I was being helped by someone, I would have mentioned, hey, guy, this person wants me to invest, and I would immediately say, no, do not do it. I have a feeling that the Hare family was groomed into that position. I think it was a long-term con. In the con world, like let me see, it's there's a short-term con and there's a long-term con. Con artists can do a long-term con. I think the Hare family was just caught up in a long-term con, and they really were not thinking enough. You know, they should have been happy with what they had. $50,000 could have started their life immediately, and a little bit more of information seeking would have helped them. Again, I am not saying that the Hare family deserve this at all. Nobody deserves to be scammed, but Another side of this is the Russian people who did scam her, they are always going to continue doing this and preying on the non-natives. I have some I talked to the Hare family offline. They mentioned a few things that sounded very suspicious to me. The Hare family did mention that the Rose family are the people who helped them find this place where they stayed. Now, if it was me, again, I don't take people to the lion's den. I have a feeling that the expat American family knew what kind of business these people were doing, and it just seems like a recipe for disaster. That is one of the most expensive scams that are happening inside of Russia, investment scams. All right. And another thing that she mentioned was exchanging cryptocurrency into rubles. That is another way that you can get scammed. That is the third way that I'm going to be talking about how foreigners get scammed inside of Russia. There is no need to pay high quotas to bring your money into Russia. You can do it legally through cryptocurrency. You can buy USDT or any other type of stable coin and exchange it legally inside of Moscow. Excuse me. The way that people are stealing your money is charging high interest rates on your transfer, and then exchanging. The actual scam happens at the exchange. So turning your money into USDT or any crypto should not, that is not a scam. What scammers are doing is telling you that the ruble is exchanging for 75 rubles per the dollar, and that is a scam because the dollar at any given time they lower 10 rubles per dollar. So every 10 rubles you're losing a damn dollar. So that's pretty crazy. Sorry, every 10 rubles, every $10 you're losing a dollar. Every $10 you're losing a dollar. Yes, and by the way, Ginger brings up a great point about what the Hare family is up to right now. I don't think that they made back 50,000, but they are certainly getting help. They were living in a pretty well-off apartment. I'm going to be doing more research into that topic, by the way. I'm going to have another interview with them. I am a non-biased, I guess, what is it? Interviewer. I when I interview people, I am not a biased person. I don't care what side. I just try to use my common sense. How involved is the Rose family? So the problem with the Rose family is that they made a video talking about this topic, and they kind of burned everybody. They burned the Hare family. In my opinion, they brought like 5 different people to talk shit about the Hare family. It's very simple. The Hare family messed up. They decided to trust the wrong person, but they were misguided. There was foul play. Had I gone in contact with the Hare family and I helped them get to Russia, I would advise them from the beginning not to trust anybody with their money. I would have told them, do not use your money in certain things. I think that there was foul play. There was negligence by the Rose family, and this is how they are involved, because they were ignorant and they did a little bit of foul play against the Hare family. This is one type of scam where Westerners will also target Westerners on the way in. Take it easy, and thank you so much for joining us. Rodi's Drock says there is no 100% profit in any investment unless you invest 300,000, let that sit there, and maybe you get a profit after maturity. Yes. The truth is that Russia right now is a place where you can build interest in the bank, but I don't even think that I would trust a Russian bank with all of my money. I need you guys to understand that what happened to the Hare family is not unique to them. It is happening still to many people. You should not invest in anything in Russia. Yeah, freaking Ginger knows her stuff. That's the one and only Ginger. I honestly, the reason why I picked up this story is because I think that it's a perfect example of not doing your due diligence and doing the research and paying attention to red flags. They were scammed because they failed to read through the fine print. But at the same time, I use them as an example because they were guided by a Westerner who makes videos and there was foul play. Both things can be true. The Hare family can be, these are the two things that can be true. The Hare family is a little bit oblivious to reality, but also they were conned. There was foul play. Both of these things together is a recipe for disaster. Again, when you do not pay attention to the red flags, when you do not do your research, and when you're being targeted, you're gonna get scammed. It's just that simple. Привет, my friend. And you know what's interesting also is that the Hare family contacted the local police. The police is never going to help you. The police in Russia are very unlikely to help Westerners against Russians. This is one thing that I don't like. If you are a victim of a crime that's not assault and battery, it's going to be a very hard time for you to prove anything in Russia as a foreigner. So the reality is that them being scammed, it's goodbye to their money. The police is not really going to be looking into that. Let me spend about 5 minutes here answering some of your guys' questions before we get to the last point that I wanted to make, and then I'll hop off and leave you guys alone. So go ahead. If you guys have any questions about the two things I've already talked about, or if you have any questions about life in Russia, go ahead. I think Ginger has more information than I do on the Hare family. What I know, I only gathered from the interview that I had with them and one of the videos that I watched of them explaining something. I also watched the video of the Rose family explaining what happened, and they seemed very suspect. Oh, yes, this is another thing, actually. Good thing you brought that up. Ginger, you talking about them getting asylum? Yeah, that is definitely the wrong move, by the way. Dan, how are gun laws in Russia compared to southern United States? So I think that Russian gun laws are a little bit restricted, but you can still own weapons. And the only difference is you need to learn how to use certain types of weapons and own them for a certain amount of time before you move on to the bigger weapons, okay? So his ex-American YouTube channel. So I don't really care about him. He's not a good person in my eyes. Not because of what he did to the Hare family, but from how he treated me personally. I met him in person and he dishonored my wife to her face. He tried to humiliate her. The guy, Svetlana Rose, I think her name is. She seems to be a proper lady, I guess. I have no issues with her, but the expat American, Joseph Rose, he's a shady person. He's a person who thinks he's more important than anyone else. He's not humble at all. And what he did going on live and trashing a family without that party in that video, I've asked him to go live with me and we can debate this, but he doesn't seem to want to do it. I don't trust him. Let's see. Do you have a contact with other expat YouTube channels? Do American YouTubers in Russia contact each other? Actually, no. I think they are so competitive. In the past, I used to bring on a YouTuber almost every weekend. Every weekend, I used to introduce you guys to new channels, but they never returned the favor. Every YouTuber that you guys see now, I used to make lives with them every weekend. I used to interview them, and they just never seek any sort of other type of collaborations. So it's a very selfish space. I think everybody for themselves. There's about 2 or 3 good people that I can tell you off the top of my head that I absolutely love and respect. Number one, Survival Russia, Lars in Kirov Oblast. He is the only one I can tell you right now who has never changed and has always been consistent. And he's never done me dirty at all. So shout out to Lars from Survival Russia. 2 other guys that are good to go that I respect is Konstantin from The Real Reporter and Igor in Russia. Igor in Russia has never done me dirty. He's always been very kind. I've met him in Moscow. So those 2 people have never done anything that I can say they're shady, right? But you know, it's such a competitive field because everybody is doing this and trying to steal or take clout from one another. But I can tell you right now, the community of expats is pretty isolated. Nobody talks to anybody. Dan, different rules on weapons for citizens versus foreigners. So it's the same. Jamie says former military guns are very unrestricted. Almost any gun is allowed. However, ammo is strictly controlled and checked. Okay, cool. When will I start building the house? Well, listen, when I was planning on building the house, my wife was not pregnant. So that has changed everything. We might end up buying an apartment and we might not build the house this year. And so we might buy our own apartment. I don't know yet. I have to see if my child is going to be born healthy. I need to see if my child is going to be born and if he can survive his first winter. My child is going to be due in October, so I changed all my plans. I don't care about wasting 1 cent on the foundation. Yeah, I actually made, yes, I'll be buying an apartment in Sludanka. I've talked to Expat American. We have maybe like 2 or 3 videos together. But every time we try to record together, he was very rude and he always thought himself too important. He's not humble at all in my eyes. Let's see, what else do we have? What other questions do we have? I hope you guys are enjoying my answers. And I will say one thing that Ginger brought up. Ginger's talking about the asylum. Guys, never get asylum in a country that you wanted to work in or make your life in. I feel like if you want to know about a YouTuber and his channel, just look at how he this is one way I can really sniff out a weirdo. Look at how he talks about women or how they use women for thumbnails. A man who can't respect a woman is a shady person. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah. I applied for asylum in Georgia. They refused me within 6 months. Asylum is a useless program. You know, I don't think that anybody should seek asylum in a country right now because you're not going to be able to do anything. Asylum is going to restrict you. What you should probably do is try to find a country that is easily giving out residencies. Like Mexico, you can go to Mexico and open up your own company, like your own cafe. If you know how to cook, you can go to Mexico and open up a damn restaurant. Asylums do not let you work, and sometimes you get trapped in an asylum status for a long time, then you get deported. Asylum is not a permanent thing. It's not for sure. Hello, Mike. Welcome. It's always nice to see you. Every time I see you, hey, but Mexico might have funky laws on some things, but you can make a living there easier than many other countries. PRT says, did I hear about the LA riots? What's my opinion on that? Well, look, my opinion on the LA riots is that I don't like what Los Angeles is doing. I don't respect people who are protesting because they are rioters. They are rioting and they're not really protesting anything. They're more like the LA riots. From what you've experienced, what is the most realistic and inexpensive to build a house yourself or buy from a home builder? So this is my opinion. If you can save 5 million rubles, it's better to buy a company's work and they will build it for you. Save yourself the trouble, buy a house that they build for you, or buy an apartment. Because my child right now is inside of my wife's stomach, I need to make sure I find out if I'm going to buy an apartment or build a house. Yeah, that's how it is, guys. Right now, I'm stuck in limbo until my child is born. I don't know who the Irish blogger is. Honestly, I don't know these other people. I don't watch them anymore. Because it's really discouraging to know that we could have a tight community. I tried actually to set up a really nice community amongst the foreigners, the immigrants in Russia, the immigrant community, but it's so hard to get them to talk. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again to have the joint lives with these other content creators so you guys can see how hard or who's real, who's not. But anyways, let's talk about the last way that people are getting scammed, and then I'll let you guys go. The last and final way, and one of the ways that I think is the easiest way to scam you guys, is by telling you that your money can be brought to Russia. What the people do is they exchange your dollar at a lower amount of rubles. So instead of getting maybe $3,000 worth of rubles, you're going to get $2,000 worth of rubles. And this is something that doesn't look like a scam because it's hidden behind a favor or a service, but it's not really a service when you're actually stealing from people. Eli from Russia probably doesn't know that I exist, and I don't think she likes people like me. But I would love to meet with her. She's from a little bit west from here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the earlier membership donations. And it was so funny how Slava used freaking Ungrateful Green Goblin. I hope that you enjoyed this information live, okay? I'm doing these lives because not a lot of people are talking about these type of things. These are the things that may affect you in the future if you decide to come to Russia. I think I'm going to do the full video tomorrow rather. I'm going to go live tomorrow in the morning. I'm going to go fishing and I'll see you there. That's going to be in a few hours. Dan, is there another American family begging for car money, but they bought a fabulous home? Many Russians can... What family is that, Ginger? Can you name them? Dan, there is another American family begging for car money. Oh, wait a minute. I think it's the family who... Wait a minute. Did the man of that family join the Russian military, Ginger? Is that the family? The family whose the father of the family joined the military? Uh, okay, is that the, yeah, if you're talking about that family, it's very interesting for me. I haven't mentioned. Hey, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Remember, if you're not subscribed, when you subscribe, you ride in on a bear. Um, I have no opinion on them yet because I'm still trying to do my research. But to be honest, some things that some foreigners say when they come to Russia is a little bit suspect. Like, I'm not paid by the Kremlin. I do no propaganda on this channel. I don't care. Nobody tells me what to say. Even though I am in Russia, I know my limits. I know my boundaries of what I want to say and what I don't want to say. Nobody tells me to say that I like Russia. Nobody tells me anything. Some Westerners, they really exaggerate a lot of the things that they see or do inside of Russia. I usually like to be even-handed. So when I see new channels and people just say some things, I have to see if they are being actually influenced by the government. Some families, when they come to Russia, they're favored by the Russian government and they're pushed in the media. I would never go on Russian news or something and start saying whatever they want me to say. I did a show once and they cut me off because I was being so negative about reality. They wanted me to suck the freaking balls of Russia. But I live in a small Siberian town. I don't live in Moscow. I can't tell you that the streets are perfectly paved and that the stores are filled with the best foods, which is what they wanted me to say during the times of sanctions. They wanted me to say this, but I was like, no, I'm from Siberia, fucker. Where I'm from, it's not Moscow. And they cut me off. Jamie thinks he's the house window costing more than planned, hence the mortgage. I have no. If you want to learn how to move to Russia, join our Telegram. But we do not give military advice, by the way. I know some people, some families definitely jumped in head first in Russia for sure. The riots were happening in my city, but my house was not looted. Nobody really loots in the ghettos. I'm from a ghetto of Los Angeles, and nobody really steals from there. I don't think, maybe I should do a, maybe I should do, what is it called? What's it called? Like an audit of channels. Maybe I should audit channels and people because really a lot of people say a lot of things that I don't believe. A lot of channels that are coming up, some of these videos that they're doing and some of these things that they're talking about is a lot of misinformation. Jamie says, Dan, I spent a while helping foreign recruits while I was in Moscow. Mostly Arabs, but I think some else people want. No, I don't want to help people join the military because foreigners joining the Russian military is backwards. No foreigner should be fighting for Russia because Russia doesn't need people who don't speak Russian. Unless you speak Russian, you could go. But I've made this point where if you're not a Russian speaker, you're as good as, I don't know, you're actually dead weight. In combat, you need a lot of communication. In combat, you need to make sure that you're communicating with your team leaders, with your flanks. You need to be ready to operate and do different things. If you don't speak Russian, you're going to get your man to your right and left killed. I wouldn't advise any foreigner who doesn't speak perfect Russian to join the military in Russia. I say that because my I have family members now in Russia who are close to the conflict, and I don't need foreigners joining the ranks of Russia to only be a dead weight. Do you think you'll ever do an interview with Countryside Acres? I can do it. I've spoken with Aaron in person. I've spoken with him. He seemed like a genuine guy. Didn't really have a lot of words for me, but he didn't seem like a douchebag. And I'm pretty sure if I interview him, people would learn other things than they already know. Yeah, a whole battalion of English speakers. I would guess that they do that, but they're probably not all the same ethnic groups, and the English there and communication there is probably not the best. Again, I do not think that Russia has 300, 400 Americans fighting for them right now. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one, Jamie. I don't promote joining the Russian military because I don't promote bad unit cohesion. I don't know in a battle space in a war if you have pure English speakers, if you have that battalion in a battle space where there's Russians, that's not good cohesion. The only way I see Americans or English speakers being used in the Russian military is for intel. And that is the honest truth. And I'm probably right when I say that the majority of the Americans and Westerners are being used as intel and not infantrymen. So yeah, I think sometimes I get carried away. I say I'm gonna leave and we stay because the conversation gets really good. Yeah, Jamie, that's what I thought. And you know what? Like, I appreciate the information that you've given. I really appreciate the information that you put on the chat. It's really informative, and it's something that I don't know personally. I just, I'll give you from experience. In Afghanistan, I used to kick in the Afghan army through the doors whenever I didn't feel safe. I was always in the front. I was a combat engineer sweeping for IEDs and landmines. But whenever I felt something was off, like they were trying to get us in some sort of ambush, because I could not speak Pashtun or Farsi or whatever the hell they speak so many languages over there. I would kick the Afghan soldier through the door, or I would hit him, turtle fuck him in the head with my Kevlar and make him do what I need. And a lot of those guys, I saw them with my own eyes, get wounded because they don't know how to speak English. So I don't trust people in combat who don't speak the same language as me, because either they're going to get hurt or I'm going to get hurt. Grace says, I tried sending a super chat. Hasn't worked twice. Just wanted to thank you for the directness. Hey, Gray, no problem. I appreciate you trying. I appreciate your support. I think, honestly, the most important thing about this community, like when I'm telling you guys what I think, I'm telling you because I said in a live a long time ago that I don't have to lie anymore. I don't lie. It's much easier for me to always just tell the truth. And when I make a mistake, if I say something wrong by mistake, I will correct myself. I grew up, when I was young, I used to lie. And then when I came out of the war and I realized I have to live through life anyways with my own mistakes all the time, I just said, F it, I just won't lie, and it saves me the trouble, right? So when I'm very direct, it's just me telling you exactly what I'm thinking, and then what I notice from other things that I see. I think that a lot of people try to save face. Hey, Medi, fucker, welcome. Medi, what's up? I'm still, I'm laughing still about what you said about a Marine getting sidetracked by bugs having sex. That was freaking hilarious, Medi. On a live that we did earlier, or a few hours ago, yesterday now, I was doing a live and there was bugs. There was bugs that were shagging in my shed. And I got sidetracked. And then Medi was like, something about like, it's so typical. Oh crap, it's freaking Vaughn too. Freaking hell. Oh man, that's freaking comedy. Now we have to worry about Iran and Israel. I think that the world is in a silent World War III in a way. But we'll see how Iran handles this. Iran has opportunity to surprise the West. Oh yeah, typical of a Marine to be distracted by bugs humping. I saw the bugs again. I went back to the shed later on the day. So guys, do we have any other questions? Some plans that I have are going live with the channels. If you want to see me go live with a channel, go type on their YouTube content, go to their YouTube content and say, hey, do a collaboration with the Wild Siberia. Guys, please, if you're watching this, if you have other YouTube channels that you watch from inside of Russia, comment on their comment section, do a collaboration with Wild Siberia. Excuse me, you can tag me, and then maybe that's how we'll get their attention. I do a lot of interviews in the past, and I used to love doing interviews. So if I want to bring those back. What army parade? I don't know what army parade. Ginger says, that's why I believe men and women shouldn't war together. I never saw a woman in the combat. When I was serving in Afghanistan, I never saw a female, and I was very, very against taking men to go to war who were even married. When I was a fire team leader, a squad leader, when I was leading men in combat, I usually didn't like men who were even married. I once was charging against the enemy. I think it was like 100 meters. We were running towards them in an open field. A guy was left in the trench screaming, I got wife, I got kids. And that's when I knew I never would get married until I'm outside of the military service. I didn't want to die and leave a widow or orphan, you know? I didn't know there was an army parade in the United States. Oh wow, the army is celebrating 250 years. That's cool. You know what? I think they're still together. I think they're still together. That's probably the only relationship that survived the war. Because every other guy had their wives cheat on them, had got knocked up with baby Aiden on the way. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'm going to be seeing you in about 8 hours. I'm going to be live streaming. Remember to comment on other people's content, letting them know they should do interviews with Wild Siberia. I see you guys in about 8 hours on a vertical live stream where we're going to be talking a little bit more geopolitics.